The root cause of youth crime is unaware parenting skills by immediate family or families that have parented. This core problem needs to be addressed in the offenders to prevent more youth crime. The Band-Aid solution will not suffice. I want to share my first-hand experience with you. If there's anyone who can provide insight and comment on this issue, it's me. Only through an experience that changed my life forever in 1989 that allows me to do that. I was one of those kids that people resented, the ones they protested about and demanded harsher penalties for. I spent years in child institutions and later graduated with flying honours into the prison system. From the age of 12 to 27, I never spent more than a year in society. I used to have no respect for myself or others, and I didn't care about the consequences of my actions or you because of my deep-rooted problems from being a scared person living in fear I could not recognise. Child offenders like me would laugh at the idea of consequences. People with similar problems flock together through relatability, and institutions, child institutions, are the perfect place for this. You end up with the same kind who don't respect the law, the courts, or the system that is supposed to help society with taxpayers' money to find solutions to child offending and recidivism. The system fails again and again because people in power don't know how to address this problem that has been around for years in child reoffending. Our corrections, which are meant to help people stop reoffending, are failing and will continue to do so until this problem is addressed. In 1989, after completing my last prison sentence in Boggo Road Jail in Brisbane, I was sent to a rehabilitation centre on the outskirts of Brisbane called Logan House. This was through a bail application, but my real motive of going to this farm was to escape maximum security jail and go back to drugs and crime, all I had ever known in my life. I despised this centre when I got there. It was a therapeutic community filled with drug addicts, repeat offenders, and homeless individuals. This centre was one of the last places where individuals stayed before being either sent to prison, institution, relapsing again, struggling to survive on the street, or dying from an overdose. It was also a place where people like me might begin to overcome the self-defeating behaviours and attitudes through self-awareness of one's self and history. In the community, residents confronted each other about their inadequate coping skills on a day-to-day basis. The aim was to teach them how to develop better coping skills by holding these residents accountable for their actions and their behaviours. Through open conversation, the residents would be encouraged to talk about their deep feelings and emotions all the time with each other. During these confrontations, residents were not allowed to discuss their thoughts. Instead, they worked off feeling charts and had to describe their emotions such as fear, worry, feeling scared, inadequacies, shame and guilt, insecurities, anger, frustration, just to name a few. Discussing these emotions openly and honestly brought up many heated exchanges for residents through being taught this new way in their life. It was designed to bring out struggle so the residents could see what was underneath their actions and reactions they were doing. Teaching residents to be honest about what they were thinking and feeling was essential to real change in this centre. I eventually realised that my behaviours, problems and crazy actions stem from generations of problems my parents inherited, and it was all fear-based. My parents had unconsciously scripted me into the person society didn't like and blamed me for my fearlessness towards them. They did this out of their fear of wanting me to survive. It worked with grave consequences for me and the community. I was acting from fear. I was so scared, and I didn't care for others or myself or anyone else who stood in my way because of this deep-rooted fear. I used drugs to cope with that fear that I could not manage or cope with because no one could help me with my problem of living or identifying my fear. Like normal people, like who can handle themselves better. We all live in some kind of fear, but some people manage it better than others. I was acting out of this fear that I hated within me. My parents were fearful too. They were alcoholics to deal with their fear. My other family members, my siblings, they too become drug addicts. Looking back through the bloodline of cousins, aunts, uncles, they too have been trapped in their fear with no identification of it or solutions to help them deal with how scared they are living with their fear. Child criminals are showing governments a cry for help to help them with their unconscious fear. They are saying, look at me, I am so fearless and I don't care about you or your consequences or the people I hurt because I am really scared and I don't know why I'm scared. Fearless people hurt others unconsciously and want them to feel fear. They are indirectly saying, I feel scared and want to connect with others by sharing my fears also to make you scared. They get an identity out of what they are doing, and the media acknowledges this bad behaviour, and that's what satisfies them. Government should set up places for these wayward kids to deal with their fear by helping them reach it in like a therapeutic community, what I went through, so they can start to heal and learn positive coping strategies like I learned when I saw my motivation to be loved and recognised. And that's where it all stemmed from. If we don't address these real issues, the consequences on our society will not change. Intelligent people can be employed by governments to set these up and manage these communities with the help of individuals to develop a better understanding of their fear. Trauma fear is passed down from traumatized parents who were never allowed to overcome their fears by acknowledging fear and learning different ways to cope with it constructively for the betterment of them and society. Blaming children for their negative behaviour is not the solution to the problem. It is attention and guidance that they are seeking to be recognised. Merely locking up individuals without addressing these root causes of their actions, which stem from internal fear and inadequate coping skills, is not an effective way to improve society and help these individuals. I have also written a book on this subject, All the W's, kinghitbook.com. And if you have enjoyed this little talk, subscribe or hit the notification bell. And let's catch up at my next video. You take care now, look after yourself.